Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into a genuinely fascinating white paper by John Cashett. It tackles a massive issue in the business world right now, why so many enterprise AI deployments are just falling completely flat. And here's the crazy twist. It's almost never because the technology itself is bad. No, we're actually dealing with a severe AI identity crisis. So let's jump right in and see how we can build actual, intelligent organizational agents instead of just, fancy chatbots. The core problem staring most companies right in the face is summed up perfectly right here. Enterprise AI deployments are failing, not because of the technology, but because organizations deploy AI models with no defined process framework and roles. See, we get so caught up in the shiny underlying tech, the massive neural networks and the raw processing power, that we totally forget the human element of organizational structure. At their core, large language models are really just highly sophisticated pattern matching systems. If an organization just plugs one in without defining a specific process framework or giving it a clear role, well, it has absolutely no idea what to do with the information it's processing. So, what's the missing ingredient here? It's identity. Think of deploying an AI without parameters like welcoming a super eager, incredibly intelligent new hire on their very first day of work, but then refusing to tell them what department they work in, who their boss is, or what their daily tasks actually are. Sure, they're perfectly capable, but because they completely lack organizational context, they're pretty much useless to your specific business operations. When an AI lacks the structured context, it just defaults to generic, inconsistent, and honestly, totally unreliable output. Moving on to Section 2. Does your AI ask? The diagnostic paradigm shift. Let's pause and ask yourself right now, does your organization's AI model ask or even know who you are? This deceptively simple question is actually the ultimate diagnostic test for any enterprise AI deployment. If your AI model doesn't ask clarifying questions, it hasn't been given a persona. It simply doesn't know its role, it doesn't know its scope, and it certainly doesn't know you, the user. We hear the phrase AI persona tossed around a lot these days, usually just meaning someone gave their chatbot a cute name and a little smiley avatar. But structurally, it goes way, way deeper. An AI persona is a strictly structured set of role-defining parameters. It dictates exactly what the AI knows, stuff like your specific regulatory constraints and organizational history. It governs what the AI is responsible for, setting up hard boundaries and escalation triggers. It defines how it interacts, and crucially, how it measures its own performance. Basically, it's a deeply structured process identity. Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. Say a user types a super simple prompt, "Help me with this order." Now, a generic AI, having zero defined context, just starts making assumptions. It might spit out some generic e-commerce advice that helps literally no one, because an agent without a defined role simply guesses, and it guesses wrong at scale. But a persona-driven AI, it immediately spots the ambiguity. Because it actually has boundaries, it stops and asks, wait, are you referring to an order in SAP or the CRM? Is this a fulfillment issue or a billing question? What exactly is your role? It asks because it operates within a defined scope. Section 3. Same data, different answers. Let's look at the immense value of process intelligence. Okay, picture this. A major manufacturing event happens. A massive monthly quality cost event gets processed through a company's quality cost accumulator, and the hard data spits out this number: $2.45 million. That's the objective reality of the data. Now, a properly deployed, persona-driven AI knows that this exact $2.45 million event needs to be looked at through radically different lenses, all depending on who is asking. For the CFO, the AI immediately focuses its output on the EBITDA impact, working capital consumption, and the ROI on prevention investments. But the COO, they don't need to see that. For the COO, the AI instantly pivots to highlight throughput constraints, capacity loss, and labor hours. The plant manager gets immediate ranked containment actions they can take today. And engineering? They get a detailed breakdown of design-based failure patterns. It's the exact same underlying data, processed simultaneously, that tailored perfectly. As the white paper perfectly points out, 4 different answers, each one correct for the person asking. Guys, this isn't just cleverly reformatting the data, it's true process intelligence. An AI model without that structural definition we talked about, it's just going to deliver the exact same generic, middle-of-the-road output to every single one of those 4 roles. And because of that, the output is practically useful to absolutely no one. Section 4. The IPE Blueprint. 6 Steps to Integrated Process Excellence.
So, here are the 6 steps of Integrated Process Excellence, or IPE for short. It's a structured deployment framework that actually traces its roots back to Roger Slater's foundational work from 1996. But it's been specifically upgraded by John Kashata to handle the crazy technological demands of modern enterprise AI. You start by creating a positive cultural environment. Then you define the process, document it, communicate it, measure and control it, and finally lock in continuous improvement.
Zooming in on the absolute most critical steps for building your AI. Step 2, defining the process, is where the AI literally gets its identity, purpose, and scope. It defines what the agent is and who it actually serves. Step 3, documenting the process, is where you build the structured knowledge base, the specific organizational history and product specs your AI is going to draw from. And step 4, communicating the process, sets up the presentation style and perhaps most importantly, the escalation protocols. This dictates exactly when the AI needs to stop guessing and hand the problem over to a human. These steps directly build the AI's identity and its behavioral boundaries.
And we definitely can't forget step 6, which gives us this incredibly punchy quote. A static persona is a decaying asset. Think about it. Processes evolve, regulations change, user needs are constantly shifting. Continuous improvement ensures systematic prompt engineering updates and knowledge base refreshes. If you just build it and walk away, its usefulness is going to degrade almost immediately.
You can actually use this structured diagnostic derived right from IIP to assess your own organization's AI maturity today. Check this out. If your AI doesn't ask clarifying questions, you've failed at step 2, process definition. If it can't draw on documented company-specific knowledge, well, you're failing at step 3. If you have no metrics to tell you when the AI is underperforming or hallucinating, you're missing step 5. It really is that straightforward to diagnose exactly where the structural cracks are in your system. Section 5, accelerating deployment. Moving from months to days with IPE packs. Now, I know what you're thinking. Documenting all of your organization's processes from scratch sounds like a massive burden, right? To solve that exact bottleneck, the source material introduces IPE packs. Think of these as pre-built, sector-specific process intelligence libraries. They already cover 81 different functional areas across manufacturing, healthcare, finance, logistics, you name it. They deliver a ready-to-go process hierarchy and map out all the key input, process, and output variables for you. Because this documentation is already structured for AI integration, you don't have to build the whole knowledge base from scratch. These libraries accelerate deployment incredibly fast, all without sacrificing that structural step-by-step rigor that actually drives the AI's performance. Bringing this all full circle, we're left with a pretty stark contrast. On one side, we have the failing status quo, the generic tool. It's a guesser. It has absolutely no defined role. Ultimately, it's just an incredibly expensive autocomplete feature. But on the other side, we have the goal, the intelligent organizational agent. Because it's driven by the IPE framework, it knows its specific role, it fully understands its boundaries, and, most importantly, it asks clarifying questions when it needs to. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to take away from John Kashat's analysis. If your AI does not ask, have you actually deployed an intelligent agent or just an expensive autocomplete system? The difference between the two isn't the underlying technology you bought. It's the structure you provided. It's a hugely powerful framework for rethinking how we integrate these tools into our everyday operations. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you look at your own enterprise systems with a fresh, highly focused perspective.